What if the most boring decision of your life was the one that saved you? Peter stood in silence, staring at his bank app late at night. His bank balance showed just $312. He had no backup plan to fall back on. No job calls were coming in anymore. There were no second chances left. This wasn't a smart decision by any standard. Everyone around him told him that clearly. But this was his one last try. 3 months earlier, Peter had made himself a dangerous promise. He told himself that if this didn't work, he was done for good. He had already failed once before. He had lost his savings along the way. He had lost his confidence slowly. He had almost lost the respect of people around him. What he was about to try next confused everyone. Most people would have called it boring. Some people openly called it stupid. But boredom doesn't scare desperate people. Failure does. Peter wasn't lazy by nature. He was deeply exhausted. Rent kept rising every few months. Credit card interest kept piling up silently. Every so-called safe job application rejected him. He didn't want luxury or status. He wanted stability in his life. He wasn't chasing millions of dollars. He just wanted a system that worked, even when motivation didn't. That was when he noticed something strange. Every successful person he studied had one thing in common. They didn't chase hype or excitement. They chased repeatability instead. They focused on the same input every time. They trusted the same process daily. They expected the same output consistently. Peter asked himself one simple question: what kind of business survives boredom? The answer genuinely surprised him. This decision demanded daily discipline, tight margins, and zero ego. One small mistake could wipe everything out. Friends laughed and told him he was smarter than this. But smart people don't always win in real life. Consistent systems are what actually win. So Peter went all in despite the doubts. Peter chose poultry farming. Not the romantic version people post online. Not Instagram farming with filters and music. He chose a controlled and numbers-driven system. This is where most people fail. They treat it like luck instead of logic. Peter treated it like math. Peter structured his work around a batch of 1,000 birds because scale mattered for margins. He planned everything around a 42-day cycle. Knowing poultry doesn't reward impatience. He set a strict rule that mortality had to stay below 5% or the batch would fail financially. He closely monitored feed efficiency, aiming to convert feed at a ratio between 1.6 and 1.8. Temperature control was critical, starting warm for the chicks and gradually reducing it as they grew. Ventilation was never optional and was treated as a daily requirement, not a luxury. Most beginners ignore these details completely. Peter obsessed over them instead. He tracked numbers every single day, not emotions. On day 11, things started to go wrong. Feed costs suddenly jumped higher. Humidity levels spiked inside the shed. The birds stopped eating properly. Losses crossed the danger line quickly. At this point, most people would have quit. Peter almost did too. But instead of panicking, he adjusted airflow, fixed water quality, and reduced stress inside the shed. After that, the losses stopped. By day 30, something clearly changed. Growth stabilized across the batch. Feed efficiency improved steadily. Costs stopped spiraling out of control. There was no excitement or celebration. There was only quiet consistency. This is what success actually looks like. By the end of the cycle, Peter had spent roughly $2,800 to raise the batch. When the birds were sold, the total revenue came to just over $4,100. After subtracting all costs, he was left with around $1,300 in net profit. All of it came from a single 42-day cycle. It wasn't viral money. It wasn't lottery money. But it was repeatable money. Peter didn't escape poverty. He escaped uncertainty. Peter didn't win because poultry farming is magical. He won because he respected systems, killed his ego, and stayed boring long enough to win. Most people want exciting success. That's exactly why they stay broke. If you're waiting for the perfect idea, you're already losing. The best businesses are predictable, unsexy, data-driven, and brutally honest. If stories like this help you think more clearly about money and work, subscribe to Hustle Untold, because behind every stable income, there's an untold system. And this was Peter's.